the 11th suspect of that attack on that ICE facility in Texas that happened on the 4th of July, has now been apprehended by the FBI in the Dallas area. Here with reaction, Oklahoma Senator Markwayne Mullin. You were at the joint session, and I didn't see Democrats applaud Laken Riley's family or Jocelyn Nungary's family, or that, that young man that had up to that point beaten cancer and became a Secret Service agent that night. Those were pretty incredible moments. If you're that partisan, you can't stand for families of victims that were brutally murdered. That speaks volumes to me. That's soulless to me.
Well, Sean, it just speaks of the Democrat Party today. Their hatred towards President Trump and anything he stands for, they have to go against. And I think you said this earlier on your show, that the Democrat Party is more interested in supporting illegals and those that have broken the law to actually support their own community that wants to live in safety without fear of walking down the streets. But President Trump ran on restoring law and order in even blue cities, and they can't stand it. They cannot give this administration any win, even though he's working for their own constituents that probably didn't vote for President Trump. But the list goes on. I mean, as you recited just a second ago, Sean, these 5 Iranians that came across our Canadian border, not our southern border, that, keep in mind, the Iranian regime just recently said they're going to activate their the sleeper cells. Let's talk about that. How dangerous could that be to every community around there? And yet they still can't support the ICE. And then you have these individuals going out there calling Alligator Alcatraz, an internment camp or concentration camp. That's an insult to the greatest generation. Like my grandfather, Kenneth Morris, who went over on Omaha Beach, who lost 64% of his guys, who was in the Battle of the Bulge, and he made light of his situation. Typically, I mean, I'm going to speak just the way Pawpaw used to speak, but he said when you'd ask him about the war, one thing he would joke about, typically, he'd say, listen, I went to Europe to liberate all the wine and the women, and I did a good job at it. But when you talked about what he saw at concentration camps when he went into Germany, he got dead serious. To the day he passed away, he wouldn't even think about eating Hershey chocolates just because of what happened there. That's an insult to those that survived those concentration camps. To even compare this, they were put there just because of their religious beliefs. You have individuals that are in these detention centers are there because they entered the country illegally and then they broke the law before they got here. I mean, one guy they arrested from Houston hijacked an airplane coming from Cuba that was headed to Florida. My Lord, what type of people are these Democrats trying to protect?
What do you make of the 830% increase in violence against ICE agents? And what could be done? I mean, we do have a Constitution. We have a supremacy clause that gives jurisdiction to the federal government to enforce federal law over states. But what about sanctuary states like New York and California? Aren't they, by definition, isn't that law by definition aiding and abetting in the law breaking? And what could be done for those people that adopt those laws?
Well, first of all, the law enforcement in most of those cities, they don't support the sanctuary cities. So we need to give them the support. But we also need to make sure there is no federal dollars, not a single federal dime should go to any sanctuary city. And then those that are involved, even elected officials that are helping, aiding and abetting of these illegal immigrants, actually I don't even like the word immigrants here, illegal aliens, they should be held accountable too. They are the ones that say no one's ever above the law, but they're putting themselves above the law, and they're putting those that are in this country illegally, which broke the law, and either we're a nation of laws or a third world country, they need to be held accountable too, Sean.
All right, we appreciate it, Senator. Thank you for being with us. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.